Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Aman, and in our Great Speeches series today, we look at an address delivered by C. Rajagopalachari at the preparatory convention of the Swatantra Party in Bombay on 1st August 1959. We revisit this speech as it marks 67 years since Rajagopalachari announced the formation of the Swatantra Party on 4 June 1959. Rajagopalachari, or Rajaji, had a long association with the Congress and had served as independent India's last Governor General and as Chief Minister of Madras. He quit the Congress in opposition to PM Jawaharlal Nehru's economic model, coining the term license permit Raj to criticize the government's excessive control over private enterprise. On 1st August 1959, he addressed the party's first convention in Bombay, inaugurating what he called not merely a party, but a movement of freedom. The Swatantra Party stood for classical liberal principles, free enterprise, and minimum state interference. Rajaji began his speech by describing what he saw as the Congress government's creeping expansion into every aspect of citizens' lives. He said, "The state is becoming a giant entity by itself, menacingly poised against the citizen, interfering with his life at all points, mistrusting the people, imposing restrictions, introducing a series of controls and regulations, stepping into the fields of agriculture, industry, and trade, and creating an army of officials, tremendously increasing the cost of administration and therefore the taxes paid by the nation, hypnotizing the people with slogans that are mistaken for thought and wisdom." End quote. Rajaji then said that the Congress built its policies on false promises it could never fulfill. He said, "You begin with a false conception and make promises on that basis which are necessarily incapable of performance. Then your sympathetic critics want you to be more efficient than you are and to do the impossible, and you are led to make more promises in place of the old promises. The whole business, which is faulty at the base and in the superstructure, leads to the people being made victims of one deception after another." End quote. He gave land reform as an example. The Congress promised ceilings on land holdings to address land hunger among the landless, but soon realized it did not have sufficient land. Instead of acknowledging this, the party shifted to proposing cooperative farming, then assured people it would be voluntary, then planned subsidies to overcome popular objections and criticisms. Rajaji's assessment of this pattern was clear. He said, "There is no morality in creating an impression that the landless will get land as a result of the policy of land ceilings, and yet that deception is the basis of whatever hold the Congress has now in the rural area." End quote. He then turned to the corrupting effects of power, identifying two kinds. He said, "At the top, the ruling party and its chiefs have secured position and power to make or attempt to make basic changes in the structure of society, imagining that they can achieve revolution without revolution. Illusion and megalomania are the consequences of this corruption produced by power at the top." End quote. At the lower levels, Rajaji said, party bosses interfered with justice in day to day administration, and officials had lost the courage to stand up to political pressure. He gave one example of what he called thoughtlessness at the top, a law giving daughters equal share in property. He said, "At one stroke, they have made laws to double fragmentation of real property and scattered the fragments by offering to the daughter an equal position with the son without taking into account the social and economic and family changes involved in a woman's life by reason of marriage. This is a capital example of exhibitionism and thoughtlessness." End quote. Rajaji then argued that the ruling party needed to go, while explaining what the Swatantra Party stood for. He said, "The ruling party must be replaced by a party that will respect the freedom of the individual. The Swatantra Party stands for this freedom. It stands for individual initiative and enterprise. Compulsion kills initiative, and regulation kills interest and responsibility. We want our policies to be based on faith in the people as the moral foundation of government, discarding compulsion." End quote. On taxation, Rajaji clarified that the Swatantra Party was not against it, but only against taxation that hindered the growth of private entities. He said, "What we object to is taxation that cripples private initiative and kills the goose which we expect to lay eggs of gold. There is a wide spectrum between absolute freedom and socialist regulations or state capitalism. We stand for a pull towards private initiative and the liberty of the citizens to live a free life." End quote. Rajaji dismissed critics who questioned whether the new party could succeed, saying that was the wrong question to ask. He said, The only question that we should put to ourselves is this: is a new party, a party standing up for Swatantra, necessary? If it is necessary, we must work for it steadily and bravely. If there is moral and political justification for the party, the nation will not allow it to fail. End quote. Rajaji concluded his speech by reiterating the party's founding principle and inviting everyone who believed in individual liberty and opposed government control to join the Swatantra Party. He said, Prince and peasant, captains of industry, and the toilers in the factories, the small shopkeepers, as well as the wholesalers, all who prize the liberty of the individual, and in particular the poor who are losing their occupations, all those who wish to resist the inroads of the state and its machinery on liberty. We welcome in this our party of Swatantra. End quote. Thank you for joining us on Great Speeches. For more from The Print, become a subscriber at theprint.in/subscribe. I am Aman in Delhi.